This is the 365 Days of Multi-Level Marketing Journey to Freedom podcast with Rome Batchelor, where Rome shares his daily journey from down and out to total financial freedom in 1 year, along with pro tips, tricks, strategies, and tools to help you join in on the journey. Now, here's Rome with today's Journey to Financial Freedom podcast.
So we've been talking about a lot of what to do's. We've been talking about a lot of steps and practical pro tips to help build your business, both in working in your own business and also helping develop a team, with an emphasis on day 15, the campfire culture being the one skill, the one activity, the one focus that implements everything else for you, even if you don't understand all the dynamics that it creates and does for you. It does everything. You don't really have to know anything other than day 15, really, and how to invite and promote events and gather people to the team culture, the team campfire, other people, and be a great connector, right? A great connector, endorsing the upline, explaining why they want to meet this person before you introduce them on the phone. All these things are a part of being a great connector, great at doing day 15, the campfire culture. There are skills to do it. We mentioned that we didn't get completely into, that we're dripping little thoughts along the way. Day 15 is the most important. However, today we're going to talk about a little bit of why you're doing what you do. See, if you don't know why you're doing the motions, if you don't know why you're actually spending time with your downline, if you don't know why you're doing every little move you do, you're going to make inefficient moves, and you're going to waste energy, time, and diminish your momentum. You'll diminish your momentum because, you know what, knowing why you're doing everything you're doing will help you to make the right moves every moment along the way. That's going to get you there faster. Knowing why you're doing what you're doing will help you make the right moves every moment along the way to help you hit your goals and build a larger team and develop leaders faster. So today we're going to talk about why you're doing what you're doing. And it really truly comes down to the motivation formula. The motivation formula. And there's some skills involved in this. There's some technique. There's some practical non-motivation that plays into this formula for those that hate motivation and don't understand the power of it when you build it on top of skills. But today we're going to talk about why you're doing what you're doing and how to implement it, because it's a formula. See, they say you can't motivate anybody. They have to motivate themselves. Motivation comes from within the person. And that's a freaking lie to a point, because they are leaving out part of it that makes it true. They're leaving out the part that makes it true. The part that makes it true is that you can't sustain it in another person. You can't maintain motivation in another person. But you can create, as a leader, the environment for motivation to be nourished and grow. You can create the environment for motivation to be maximized. Or you can not do it and just sort of nonchalantly build and eventually get there with a lot more work and time and not knowing what you're doing. You might know practical steps, but you may not know why you're doing what you're doing at every moment, and therefore you're not getting the results you should get. You can also create an environment that's anti-motivational because you don't know what you're doing, and you think you're motivating somebody, and you're destroying your team because of ignorance. And so we want to handle that right now before you get a large group, so you don't sabotage the work of the team and yourself, and that your results will last and grow and be maximized rather than minimized or destroyed. So today is very important. The motivational formula, I've heard it called needs times faith, but needs is not the best word. Needs is not the best word, because needs implies that people always focus on what's needed, but they don't. The truth is, human nature doesn't always have the highest ideals, the highest wisdom, the highest spiritual priorities in mind. Human nature sometimes will not make the best decisions. And people need things like life insurance to protect their family if something happens. But you know what they do? They have cable television. And a lot of people have life insurance and cable television, but I would be willing to guess that there's people out there that have cable television a lot more that don't have life insurance than the percentages that have life insurance that don't have cable television. Why? You don't need cable television, but you need life insurance, right? So people spend money on their desires, on their wants, faster. And they will be motivated to go and do things for their wants and their desires above and beyond their needs. So Rome Bachelor's rephrasing the adage, Rome Bachelor's rephrasing the cliche, and I'm going to make it really truly accurate by saying it's desire times belief equals motivation. Write that down. Desire times belief equals motivation. Now that's accurate all the way. Desire times belief equals motivation. When you understand what desire is and what you can do to stimulate that in yourself and in your new coming team members and leaders and upcoming leaders and leaders once they're developed to progress even further. And when you understand what causes belief and your role in that as a leader, as a coach, as an upline, and as a person that's a child of God within yourself, and you understand where belief comes from and what enforces that belief and what can destroy it, then you'll know what to do to maximize these two things in yourself and those on your team. And therefore, you'll have the most motivation and the highest motivational environment possible to have a team that's positive, enjoying what they're doing, moving forward at the fastest possible rate. And if your team members don't understand this, your growing leaders, your developing leaders don't understand this principle, then they're not going to maximize, and neither will you, because it'll only go as far as the leaders that understand it. So this is another podcast you're going to want to share with everyone in your group so they understand it, or talk this or teach it to them. Because what you can do is go out there and maximize desire in people. See, that's like contest. You got these contests. We got a contest, and the top 3 people that sponsor the most people or create the most team volume or new customers in the next 90 days, the number 3 spot's going to get $250 extra, and the number 2 spot's going to get $500, and number 1 winner's going to get a $2,000 check. I mean, that's going to motivate maybe one person or two that already have belief. But if you're only hitting desire and you're not adding the belief, no one's going to be motivated to get to it. And what's a better idea? I'm going to mention contest quick. A better way to have a contest would be to recognize people for doing something small that they believe they can do, and instead of giving a big chunk to to a few, give a lot of recognition. See, recognition is just as valuable as a prize as money. So just add a little less money, a lot less money, and spread it out. Instead of giving out, $3,000 or whatever to 3 people, number 1, number 2, number 3. Why don't you give out $3,000 to 30 people, and give them? We're going to be recognizing you, and make it a short-term goal. See, if you spread it out, it dilutes it too, because people lose focus. They lose focus. That's not a good contest. Contests should be short in nature and small steps in nature, and spread out amongst a lot of people, so you have a lot of people doing a little bit more and having fun. What would be the power of 30 new people bringing in 1, 2, or 3 new people? Because you have a 2-week contest to bring in one person. 2-week contest to bring one person. And everybody that brings in one person in the next 2 weeks not only gets recognized, we're going to have a special training just for you. The top 30 people, up to 30 people in the organization that enroll one person in the next 2 weeks. We've got get one customer in the next 2 weeks. We've got a special training for you. We're going to recognize you. We're going to tell everybody about you. We're going to put your names on the website. Those that do it, and up to 30 people that do this, we are going to give an extra $100 prize money to each one of you. Now that is because people believe it now. They believe they can they might have one person that they think might join and they're not been motivated to go and there are no sense of urgency. Now because it's a 2-week goal or a 1-week goal that they can see is possible, they have the belief and they'll have the motivation because they want that recognition. They could use that extra $100. And now you're getting 30 people in motion instead of maybe 3 or 4 or 5 that believe they can hit a big goal and beat everybody else out. Because most people don't have the belief. If they had the belief, chances are they're already doing it. So why are you trying to motivate people without belief? Because it doesn't work. You're raising the desire without adding some belief. It's got to be so small that they believe they can do it. Otherwise, contests like that don't work. So when you understand the motivational formula, you'll know how to do everything in your organization more effectively, right? Contests need to be done correctly if you're going to do them, and they're not required, but they do help if they're done right. Same thing when you're working with your new downline. You want to find reasons to help them build their belief. You know where it starts? It starts, they tend to believe in you, the person that recruited them or the person that's in the upline that's working with them. Because you do what you say you're going to do, you're serving them and you're helping them and you're doing more for them than they expected, and sometimes more than they do for their own self. And you've made them believe in you first. The second thing they probably believe in is the product. If it's something they can use and get a result with, their belief will go up in that product. And as you teach them about the power of the product, which you don't want to spend too much time there, but a little bit helps because a little bit of science, a little bit of foundation builds their belief and confidence that it's for real. See, you're building belief. What else? What's the next thing they believe in? The next thing they believe in is the company, because they hear stories how the company has always paid the checks on time. They hear from the visionary person that started the company and how they articulate their convictions, and their belief goes up in the company as they're exposed more and more because you're connecting them to the company. You're campfiring them around the company. You're connecting them to getting product in their bodies, and you're getting them identifying a testimony and trying other products as well. You're building their belief in the product line, and the whole time, right away, you're building a belief in yourself. The last thing they believe in is their own self. And that's the most important one. But the last thing they believe in is themselves. So first you, then the product, then the company. Finally, they believe in themselves. And when they believe in themselves, that's when they will go to work. And when you do offer an incentive, when you offer something, they'll go for it because they believe they can do it now. See, too many people work on the wrong things. They incentivize the wrong things in the wrong way because they don't understand that unless the belief's there, there's no motivation. And you know what the belief comes from also? Their skill and their ability to see that they can get results. That's why Dexter Yeager said goal number 1 with a new person is get them a result, a customer, a testimonial, a new person on their team. That builds belief because the results build belief. Now they know. Now they know. It's not faith as much as it is belief. It's a knowing. It's knowing. So your job is to build their belief in the way I just described, in every way you can, in the company, in the products, in you, by doing what you say and putting them ahead of yourself and serving them when it's inconvenient. Now they believe in you. And in your upline, because if all it is about them believing in you, you don't understand the campfire day 15, because you want to connect them to believe not only in you, but to believe in leaders above you that you edify and you build up. See, if you're talking good about your upline, they're going to believe in that upline. They're going to be proud to be on that team, and they're going to have confidence they're in the right place at the right time. And now you're reinforcing their belief in not just you, but the team they're in. That is so crucial. Anything you can do to build their belief is what you need to do. Secondly, on the other end of this is the needs that we talked about. That's dream building. See, if the dream's big enough, the facts don't count. If the dream's big enough, the facts don't count. You do want to inspire and incentivize. But mostly that comes from connecting with their pain points that they're wanting to heal, identifying that, and bringing that into view. And helping them develop their vision. It could be a nice car. It could be paying off their parents' home. It can be putting together a nest egg for their child. It could be a charity. It could be helping somebody. But it needs to be a heartfelt vision. It could be filling coliseums and impacting the lives of tens of thousands of people because of not only what happens in that room with the product, but also all the people that those people expose the product to and become better people, inspiring others because they're happy and moving forward and reading the right books. Look at the powerful joint effect. It could be filling a coliseum to reach people in a powerful, powerful way. You don't know what their vision is to start with, and everybody's different. And for some people, it could be much smaller than yours, and don't never shortcut it. Always say, man, that's awesome. You want to pay off your Ford truck? Man, how's that going to feel, man? That's cool. Imagine not having a payment, and everybody else is in debt and making payments and stress. You're going to pay that off. How's that going to feel to have that weight off you, man, and know you own it? Whatever their thing that inspires them, you need to cheer it on and become a cheerleader. Celebrate them and their ambitions. And you know what? Celebrate their victories as well. When they get a result in the product, when they get a customer that thanks them on the product, when they get somebody sponsored, when they go out there and start prospecting on their own, you celebrate it, you cheer it from the rooftops, and you say, you tell your upline, you tell the cross line, you tell the downline, man, this guy's going to be a leader. He's doing this, what a da-da-da. Do it even when they're not hearing it, because you know what happens? Sooner or later, they hear somebody else say that you were talking good about them behind their back. See, if you don't really buy into this wholeheartedly, you're not going to do it all the way, and it's not going to have the same effect. You need to get on your knees again and ask for some compassion, love, and help being the leader that you need to be, because leaders affect lives. You destroy lives or you make them, and you want to make them and build them up. And you want to hear, well done, my good and faithful servant, because you served your brothers and sisters that are children of God. And you've made an impact. And some of them didn't know they were, and you helped them realize it because you served them, and they care to know what you believe because you served them. You know what you did? You inspired their hearts to believe again. You inspired their hearts to believe again. And now you can take them out. Listen, if something bad happens, somebody quits, you have a meeting, nobody gets in, or even somebody does. You know what you do if you're meeting face to face? You take them out after the meeting, you grab a bite, you talk good, you bond your relationship, you talk from the heart, you inspire them, build their belief, and then you take them out dream building. You go, if they like cars, man, go to the car lot. And you take them after hours and you say, man, look at this Corvette, man, isn't this awesome? You're allowed to have one. We're allowed to have these, man. And we're also allowed to have them without a payment. Man, you keep doing what you're doing, we're going to find you the leaders, man, that you need. We're going to find you the people that want to build this thing, man. It won't be long. We're going to lock arms together and we're going to get there. And when that happens, you can get one of these, man. And it doesn't have to be on a payment plan either if you don't want it to be. Or you can just finance it and pay it off quick. Whatever you want to do, but you can have this, man. Imagine having that color. What's the color you like? And imagine going down the road, how you're going to feel in this thing, man. See, you want to get to the heart, the feeling of the matter, and inspire their dreams, which is inspiring their desires, which is identifying, helping them paint a broader and a more clear image, a bigger, clear image that's more dimensional on their vision. Build the dimensions of their vision, build their dream, and that builds their desire. And then any bit of belief they have will multiply times that, and you'll have an explosion. The more belief you can build, the more desire you can build, the more results you're going to get, the more happy motivation is going to be there. Now, on the last side of that, the flip side, if you do anything that lowers belief, or if you see somebody that's not calling you back, that tells you something happened to their belief. Somebody gave them a bunch of negativity, maybe their spouse. If they're not communicating with you when you've asked them to, either A, they're not ready, they're not accountable, they're not people you want to develop into leaders, or B, if they were and stopped, something happened. If they quit going to the meeting, quit communicating, quit showing up, something happened most likely that affected their belief. And you got to get in there and instill that environment of belief again so they can motivate themselves. And that's your job. Ultimately, you can't control what happens. Ultimately, it's up to them. So that's true, because that's the lasting. But you have to continually enhance, nourish that environment and protective environment that constantly feeds their desires, constantly feeds their desire to fix that pain point, constantly feeds and adds dimension and color and size and breadth and depth to their vision in every area that you can. Superficial and causes, anything that affects their heart or their vision and inspires them. Pictures on their refrigerator. You mail them a postcard when on your trip somewhere that they want to go and say, man, wish you were here. That builds their